So with his name, we will be getting started. First important thing. Now, what will be the goals of this one shot, guys? It is for 4 hours, and we will see that every hour is giving you questions. How many questions are we targeting from this one shot? So it is not less than 20 questions. As I always say, 200 questions you are going to get in the exam, and we are targeting at least 20 from this one shot session. 20 questions coming from ophthalmology, not exactly, but at least 20 questions will be solved from this session. That is a promise, because not only ophthalmology, you will also have the integrated questions of ophthalmology, where we are integrating ophtha with every possible subject. So right, we will be targeting 20 questions. So each hour will give you 5 important questions, and after 4 hours you are going to complete your 20 questions. First important question that we are going to take is about the visual acuity. So as you guys know, this is the most important visual acuity chart, that is called as the Snellen's chart. This is the Snellen's chart, and how much distance the patient is standing. Patient is standing at a distance of 6 meters. It is 6 meters or it is 20 feet. 6 meters or 20 feet, and that is why the normal visual acuity is 6 by 6 or it is 20 by 20. So in India we take this distance in meters, in US we take this in feet, and that is why the normal visual acuity is either 6 by 6 or it is 20 by 20. So standing at a distance of 6 meters or a distance of 20 feet, when the patient takes his visual acuity, if he is reading the topmost letter, it is 6 by 60. Next will be 6 by 36, 6 by 24, 6 by 18, 6 by 12, 6 by 9, and finally it is 6 by 6. So this one is not there in 6 by 6 letter. This is the routine way how we are measuring the visual acuity. And the most important thing is the minimum angle of resolution here. Minimum angle of resolution, which is equal to 5 minutes of the arc, and on this are based our various numericals whenever they are asking you to solve the numericals. And this year we are expecting a numerical. It can come on astigmatism, visual acuity, retinoscopy. Definitely we are expecting one question. So many questions on minimum angle of resolution, the smallest angle at which the letter is resolvable, the letter is visible, is the 5 minutes of the arc. Now, are all these letters making 5 minutes? Yes, but they are visible from the different distances. That is why you have to remember that each letter of the Snellen's chart makes this 5 minutes. Makes this 5 minutes, but at the respective distances. What do you mean by respective distances? So if I am asking about 6 by 60, if we are talking about 6 by 60, then this will make 5 minutes of the hour at 60 meters. If I am talking about 6 by 36, then this will make 5 minutes at 36 meters, and so on. That is why if I have a patient with a visual acuity of 6 by 60, then what does this mean? This 6 is actually the distance from which the patient is standing. Distance of the patient from the chart is the 6 meter, and 60 is the distance from which normal person can read it. So what a normal person can read from 60 meters, this person is reading from 6 meters. Why? Because each letter is making 5 minutes of the arc at the respective distance. So this letter is making 5 minutes of the arc at the 60 meters. So based on this, there is a AIIMS question that you need to know. what is the angle subtended by 6 by 60? What is the angle subtended by 6 by 60 at 6 meters? So this has been a very popular question, very intensive question. So how to calculate? So whatever you know, you have to first write. You know that 6 by 60 will make 5 minutes. This will make 5 minutes at 60 meters, and you have to calculate how much angle at 6 meters. That means patient is going closer. The patient is going closer by 10 times. If the patient is going closer by 10 times, the angle will also increase by 10 times. Therefore, angle will also increase by 10 times. That means 5 into 10 is equal to 50 minutes. A very simple question, and you should always know. Very good. So all of you have given the right answer. That is very, very fantastic. Can we try with the next one? 6 by 36 also can we try? How much angle at 6 meters, guys? And if you remember in the classes also, I give you a simple formula. Simple formula is divide by 6 and multiply by 5. This is your simple formula, and all the questions on visual acuity are done. Divide by 6. So if I want to find for 6 by 36, 36 divided by 6 is equal to 6, multiply by 5. So I am getting 30 minutes. Directly also you are getting the questions answer. This is mathematical ophthalmology that we always do. Yes, so many of the right answers. So many of the right answers. And if I ask you for 6 by 24, so 24, now divide by 6. 24 by 6 is equal to 4. 4 into 5. So this will give me 20 minutes. This will give me 20 minutes, definitely. 6 by 18. So if I divide 18 by 6, this is equal to 3. 3 into 5, this will give me 15 minutes. So let's get trying all the things so that any of the combination that you are getting in the question, you know. So 15 minutes also we have got. Now if they are asking 6 by 12, guys, 6 by 12 may, if I divide 12 by 6, now this is equal to 2. So 2 into 5 will only give me 10 minutes. And finally we have 6 by 6. This will give me 1. 1 into 5 is equal to 5 minutes only. And this has been a very, very recent question, a very easy question, but very recent question in SIT November 2022. So we will have tried to cover all the PYQs from 2017 till INSET November 2024 in this. What else do you want, right? We have covered all the PYQs from 2017 till INSET November 2024 in this, and I will also predict some of the important questions that will be your NEET PG 2025 questions. All right. So first we have done. Now we are going towards the second one. Going towards the second one, that is the lens. Lens is an important topic. Now not only I am telling you the important topics, I will also try. We are going towards the second one. Going towards the second one, that is the lens. Lens is an important topic. Now not only I am telling you the important topics, I will also try to predict how many questions are you expecting from an individual topic. So based on NEET PG 2022, NEET PG 2023 and NEET PG 2024, 3 questions. We are expecting 3 questions from lens. Now why I am telling you, guys, you have to spend your time accordingly when you are reading a particular subject and a particular topic also, proportionately. If any topic is giving you 3 questions, you have to give more time. 1 question, you have to give less time. In this way only you are going to concise, and that way also we have done in our one shot. So look at the lens. Lens may we have the refractive index, which can be divided into 2 parts. So we have the cortex. Cortex is the soft part. Therefore, refractive index is 1.39. Central part is the nucleus. Nucleus is the hard part. And hard is giving you 1.42. So basically, if I look at the refractive index of the lens, it is from 1.39 to 1.42. Power, we already know power of the lens is 15 to 17 diopter. And whenever we are talking about the cataract, because the most important thing in lens is the cataract. So whenever we are talking about the cataract, the most common is the acquired acquired में it is senile, senile में it is the cuneiform type of cataract. This is the most common. So though we know that most common is acquired cataract, acquired में it is senile cataract and senile में cuneiform type of cataract. Therefore, it is this cuneiform type of cataract which will be most common cause of blindness. Most common cause of the blindness, or if you integrate it with the PSM, blindness will be your severe visual impairment. This is the severe visual impairment, and this is actually your NSET 2021. They had said what is the most common cause of moderate to severe visual impairment, and students were confused with the refractive errors, guys. Whenever it is severe, then it has to be blindness only, or even if they are saying moderate to severe, then also it is severe, and severe may it is always blindness, right? So this is about the acquired visual. Now if I talk about the congenital cataracts, congenital or you can say developmental cataract. So whenever we are talking about the congenital cataract, which one is most common? Comment in the comment section which one is the most common. Yes, so definitely Arushi, we will be talking about that too. What is the most common congenital or the developmental cataract? It is the blue dot cataract. This one is the most common, which is also called as the punctate cataract, also called as the punctate cataract. But because it is most common, now if you recall your class also, most common is never most severe. Now guys, all those who are seeing it for the first time, let me tell you that most common and most severe will never occur at the same time. A thing which is most common has to be less severe, and most severe has to be less common. Nature always maintains a balance. That is very, very important. So the most common congenital cataract is a blue dot cataract, or it is also called as a punctate cataract, which is not significant. It is not visually significant. This is not visually significant, so it is not causing much diminution of vision. It is just a coincidental finding. Patient will not come with a complaint of diminution of vision, and that is why the most common one, which is coming with a visually significant also. Can you name this, guys? What is the name for this? Can you name this, where you can see the spokes of wheel like appearance? Come on. Yes. Very good. Most common is not most severe. I love you for this. Bindushri. Very good. So can you see the spokes of wheel-like appearance, guys? What is this? This has to be the riders. This has to be riders. This one will be the most common visually significant. Most common, which is visually significant also, is this one, which is your zonular cataract, or it is called as the lamellar cataract. Zonular cataract, lamellar cataract, or it is also called as the rider's cataract. This is again a PYQ. So another PYQ is the rider's cataract, which is found in a particular zone or a particular lamellae. And the third one is your total congenital cataract. Now why I am talking about this total congenital cataract? Because it is caused by the maternal rubella. Torch group of infections has to be important, which can give me the integration of the questions also. We have so many questions on this integrations. Now somebody has given polar cataract, so this is I think you are talking about the next image, if I am right. So Torch group of infections can give you the integration with the OBG. Whenever mother is having any of these infections, baby can have congenital cataract. And we are going to talk about rubella. That has to be very, very severe, because it can cause the congenital rubella syndrome. And guys, this is a predictor question for this year. 2025 में we can have a question related to congenital rubella syndrome. NEET PG 2024 में we are having the question on the triad of congenital toxoplasmosis. So definitely this time I can have a question on congenital rubella syndrome. What is the triad? Congenital rubella syndrome में we have cataract along with the sensorineural hearing loss. along with the PTA. So definitely this triad is important for your this year. Very, very important. Okay. Now somebody had rightly mentioned about this. This is the star of the thing. Ma'am, is it starch or it is scorch? It is not scorch. It is actually starch. It is, and you can call it as a scorch also. It is only a mnemonic, okay, not a medical terminology. S is also included now. That is the syphilis. So, Rajesh, don't worry about scorch or starch. Okay. Now see this. This is a slit lamp picture. This is a slit lamp picture, and a very, very important thing is, first of all, you should know how to read a slit lamp picture. So whenever you are getting something like this, we have a convexity and then we are having the biconvex thing also. So that means the light is shown from this side because convex is a cornea. So first light will enter the cornea. Can you tell me the power of cornea and refractive index of cornea, guys? Power of cornea as well as the refractive index of cornea, and then is the lens. So very simple thing. First of all, we should know how to read a slit lamp picture. Whenever we are seeing a convexity, that is cornea, that means light is shown from that side, and biconvex is the lens. Now, lens will have the two surfaces as it is evident. One is the anterior and one is the posterior. So always remember the surface which is towards the cornea is anterior. I think that is just by common sense also. If we have a cornea and then we have a lens, so the surface of the lens which is towards the cornea will be the anterior surface, away from the cornea will be the posterior surface, and the central areas are the poles. So this is the posterior polar cataract. Therefore, this is a posterior polar cataract. What is the type of appearance that we get in the posterior polar? So, yes, I have told you the refractive index up to 3 decimals. 1.376 is the cornea. This is the cornea. And power is 43 to 45 diopter. This is the power of the cornea, and you can see a typical appearance of this cataract, which is called as the onion ring appearance or the onion peel appearance. So again, a very, very important picture as well as a very, very important image based question as well as the PYQ. Whenever they are saying that there is a dilated anterior segment examination, we are dilating the pupil, we are looking at the anterior segment, and guys, what is the last part of the anterior segment? That is the lens. The last part of the anterior segment is the lens, and that is why we are looking at the lens ka anterior, lens ka posterior. We have anterior pole, posterior pole, and at the posterior pole we are getting this onion peel appearance. So this is a morphological classification as well as the anatomical classification. Now some of the important types of cataract and how to differentiate. This is the most important picture that you get clinically also of the cataract, where you can see that there is the pearly white. Can you comment what type of cataract is this? This is the pearly white color, and then you can also see that there is leukocoria, whitish pupillary reflex hai. White may it is a pearly white color. You cannot see the iris shadow, and there is no iris shadow also. And there is no iris shadow. So what is this type of cataract? Very good. It is actually the mature, therefore mature senile cataract, where we do not have the iris shadow. What is the main complaint of this patient who is coming with the mature senile cataract with a total opacification? What will be the complaint of this patient, and what is the type of that complaint? Can you tell me what will be the complaint of this patient? He is coming to me with leukocoria, and he is having pearly white color. Suppose I say a male 80 years of age coming with this whitish pupillary reflex with a pearly white reflex, then what will be the most important complaint of this patient? Yes, so that will be the diminution of vision. Can you tell me what kind of diminution of vision will be there in this patient? So if you remember your mathematical ophtha, it is gradual, painless, progressive diminution of vision. This is also a DD and this is also a DD, and whenever we have gradual, painless, progressive diminution of vision, always remember your mathematical ophthalmology. Either it is cataract or it is the primary open angle glaucoma. So if you are having leukocoria and you are having the gradual painless progressive diminution of vision, that means it has to be cataract, because leukocoria will not be present in the open angle glaucoma, right? Now coming to this one, here we are having the grayish white color. Here we are having the grayish white color, that was pearly white. This is grayish white, and you can see here the iris shadow is also present. The beautiful crescent shape iris shadow is there. This one, this is called as the iris shadow present. So what will be the type of cataract? Because grayish white color here, iris shadow is also present. Therefore, it is immature senile cataract. So we can easily differentiate between the mature senile cataract. This was your mature senile cataract, and this one is the immature senile cataract. Now, apart from the color and apart from the iris shadow, what are the important things that this immature cataract can have? There are two important things. Number one is the colored halos. What is the DD of colored halos? Somebody can tell me what is the DD of colored halos? Colored halos will be present here. And secondly, what is the type of glaucoma that can be present in this patient? That will be phacomorphic. That will be phacomorphic glaucoma. Two important things that are present in this patient. One is the colored halos and one is the phacomorphic glaucoma. It is like a symptom. It is like the complication, and even the immature cataract can cause the complication. Colored halos ki DD mein we can have cataract, like here we can have the acute congestive glaucoma, and third is the acute mucopurulent conjunctivitis. Acute mucopurulent conjunctivitis. These are the three DDs. So why I am laying stress on DD so much? Because this will again help you so many times in solving the clinical questions. And phacomorphic glaucoma, phaco means lens and morphic means the structure or the morphology. Here we are getting the colored halos, we are getting the swollen lens, due to which there can be glaucoma also, right? So we have done with this. Now coming with this, immature or intumescent is same. Yes, intumescent cataract or immature cataract is same, because here we have a lot of fluid and it is absorbing a lot of fluid. That is why it is also called as the intumescent cataract. Now another cataract picture, this was there in NEET PG 2023, and they had asked diagnosis and the treatment. If you look at this picture, it is again another PYQ image where you can see the wedge-shaped opacities are present. They are there in the periphery of the cortex. So can you tell me what type of cataract is this, where you are getting the peripheral wedge-shaped opacities? Peripheral wedge-shaped opacities are there. Therefore, it is the cuneiform. What will be the presenting complaint of this patient now? What will be the presenting complaint of this patient? Can you tell me? If the patient is having cuneiform cataract, if the patient is having peripheral opacities, then definitely this patient can present with something. What should be that? That is the night blindness. Very good, Mary. You are creating a Mary right here. It is actually the night blindness. So cataract can give me leukocoria, cataract can give me colored halos, cataract can give me phacomorphic glaucoma, cataract can also give me night blindness. So if this is causing night blindness, then can you tell me that which type of cataract will give me day blindness? Which type of cataract will give me day blindness? By the time we are discussing another question of NEET PG 2023 PYQ, again a very very important image, and they said that this patient is able to read even without the glasses. So this patient is coming and he is able to read even without the glasses. What can be the diagnosis of this patient? Exactly, it will be the cupuliform will present with the day blindness. Some people have answered nuclear cataract. That is also correct. But what, ma'am, if both are given, then obviously you have to go with the cupuliform, because cupuliform is a type of cortical and cortical cataract is more common than the nuclear cataract. Now this patient is able to read even without the glasses. The slit lamp picture has been given to you. So what can be the type of this cataract? So again, going with our slit lamp picture, we have this convexity, therefore this is the cornea. Then we have the biconvex picture. Biconvex is the lens, and you can see something here, this reddish area. This is actually the golden brown pigment. So the golden brown pigment deposition is there. Golden brown pigment deposition in the center, which will lead to the nuclear sclerosis. Nuclear sclerosis or the hard cataract, which will actually lead to the increased refractive index. Increased refractive index will lead to the myopia, that is called as index myopia. This is called as the index myopia. That was the answer. And index myopia will lead to the reading of the small letters and even reading without the glasses. So suddenly when the patient develops this nuclear cataract, nuclear sclerosis, there is an increased refractive index, and due to the increased refractive index, there is a myopia, there is short-sightedness. The patient is able to read even without the glasses. This whole phenomenon is called as the second sight. So very, very important PYQ, like not only NEET PG 2023, this has been asked nth number of times. The picture is important, index myopia, nuclear sclerosis, as well as second sight. All the three things are very, very important. You can see second sight phenomena is very, very important, right? So two images indeed on page number 548. Here you can see that these two images are very, very important and both have been asked in NEET PG 2023. Now let us see the two images here. Now if you see here, again we are having a whitish reflex. Now this one is the chalky white color, or you can say milky white color. Whenever I say that it's a chalky white color, there has to be hypermature senile cataract. Now hypermature senile cataract can be of two types. What are the two types of hypermature cataract? It can be Morganian, it can be sclerotic type. Now how will you identify? Here you can see nucleus at the bottom. So if the nucleus has settled down, that means the cortex is liquefied, and that is why we will say that this is Morganian. Therefore, it is the Morganian type of hypermature senile cataract. In the Morganian, when there is a liquefaction of the cortex, what kind of glaucoma we can have? Very, very important, phacolytic. We can have the phacolytic kind of glaucoma. There we were having the phacomorphic glaucoma, and here we are having the phacolytic kind of glaucoma. Phaco means lens, lytic means lysis. So here we are having the lysis of the cortex proteins, which are causing the blockade and causing the glaucoma. And not, this is not at all. We are also having another important thing, that is your phacogenic uveitis. We are also having phacogenic uveitis. Now, can you imagine a clinical scenario with cataract, with glaucoma, with uveitis? A patient, 80 years male, is coming to you with gradual painless diminution of vision, and it is progressing from the last 1.5 years or last 2 years, and now there is also raised intraocular pressure. Raised intraocular pressure is due to the glaucoma, but this glaucoma is a open angle type of glaucoma. So anterior chamber is not shallow. Phacolytic glaucoma is open angle type of glaucoma along with the uveitis. So we can have aqueous flare, we can have aqueous cells, and due to the meiotic pupil, we will have deep anterior chamber. So total clinical scenario is very, very important here. You can say we are having the chalky white color, we are having leukocoria, we are having raised intraocular pressure, we are having deep anterior chamber, aqueous flare, aqueous cells, and this together forms the Morganian type of hypermature senile cataract, right? Yes. Do the session are enough for FMGs? Exactly. When the session is complete for NEET PG and INSET, obviously FMG topics are obviously covered inside it. FMG important topics are the PYQs of the other two question papers only, right? So you can easily do it. Now here you can see this one is chalky white color. Now again we are having chalky white, therefore again it is hypermature senile cataract, and you can also see the wrinkled lens capsule. You can also see the wrinkled lens capsule. Now, in which type of hypermature senile cataract you are getting the wrinkled lens capsule? Therefore, it is the sclerotic type. Therefore, it is the sclerotic type of hypermature senile cataract. Now, what is the type of glaucoma that you can get? In sclerotic type of hypermature, we are getting phacotopic. Phacotopic type of glaucoma. Here we are getting the lens subluxation. Topic is the position. So here we are having glaucoma due to the anterior lens subluxation. Glaucoma is occurring due to the anterior subluxation of the lens. Phacotopic glaucoma. So now we are there with the three important types of lens-induced glaucoma: phacomorphic, phacolytic, phacotopic, and out of the three, the most common is the phacolytic. Out of the three, this is the most common type of lens-induced glaucomas, right? Now, a very important thing which will help you in solving so many clinical questions related to the posterior subcapsular cataract. Posterior subcapsular cataract, which is also the cupuliform. This is also the cupuliform type of cataract. So, whether I call it as cupuliform type of cataract or I call it as posterior subcapsular cataract, it is one and the same thing. Now, posterior subcapsular cataract is the causing maximum diminution of vision. So it is visually most handicapping type of cataract. It is visually most significant type of cataract where we have the maximum diminution of vision. So question can definitely come related to its causes. You can see the opacity is in the center. That will be your posterior subcapsular cataract. And for this we have a very simple mnemonic. I got a BSc. So I got a BSc contains all the causes of the posterior subcapsular cataract. I for ionizing radiations, especially the infrared radiations. Infrared radiations causes the glass blowers cataract. Then A for atopic dermatitis. This is also called as shield cataract. So we have derma association at so many places. Psoriatic arthritis along with the uveitis. We have got the vitiligo and Vichiet syndrome, and we have atopic dermatitis which can be associated with the cataract. Then we have pharma may be for busulfan, as for steroids, and then we have C for chloroquine. All these drugs can be causing the cataract, and very important is for the steroids. For the steroids, you always have to remember the generalized tonic-clonic seizures, GTCS, and it had been a long time that they used to ask this question, that what type of steroids are causing cataract and what type of steroids are causing the glaucoma. So it is topical causing glaucoma and systemic is causing the cataract. Always remember this. Then apart from chloroquine, the C is also the Christmas tree cataract. What is the cause of Christmas tree cataract, guys? It is also C for Christmas tree cataract, and we also have C for complicated cataract. C for complicated cataract. So there are three C's. If you see, this is C for chloroquine, C for Christmas tree cataract, and C for this. Exactly. So in one of the MCQ, it was given the glass blowers cataract, anterior subcapsular cataract. No, so that is wrong. These are all causes of posterior subcapsular cataract. But yes, atopic dermatitis. Atopic dermatitis can cause anterior subcapsular cataract also, posterior subcapsular cataract also. Anterior subcapsular is more common, but more specific is the posterior subcapsular, and that is why more correct answer is the posterior subcapsular. Now, when I talk about the causes, like Christmas tree cataract, this is caused by the Christmas tree cataract is caused by the myotonic dystrophy, or you can call it as dystrophica myotonica, while complicated cataract is due to the ocular diseases. Whenever patient is having the ocular diseases, most common is the chronic anterior uveitis. Most common is the chronic anterior uveitis. It is called as the complicated cataract, and we have got the two important signs here. The two important signs of the complicated cataract. Anybody who can answer this? Complicated is breadcrumb appearance. Very good. So please share the PDF. Don't worry about the PDF, that will be shared for you. But if you are writing along with me, then that is even better. So we have got the polychromatic luster, polychromatic luster and the breadcrumb appearance. And the breadcrumb appearance are the two important signs that we are going to get. Polychromatic luster and the breadcrumb appearance are the two important signs that we get in complicated cataract. You can see the slit lamp picture also of the posterior subcapsular cataract, where you can see the central opacity. This is actually the central plaque-like opacity. Central plaque like opacity. So if you are getting central plaque like opacity in the lens, then this is the posterior subcapsular cataract. When we are getting peripheral wedge shaped areas, then it is called as the cuneiform type of cataract. Now this posterior subcapsular cataract, where we have the central plaque like opacity, can present with the DD of the day blindness. With the DD of the day blindness. So that means parallelly we can have three kind of representations. If a patient is coming to me with leukocoria or the whitish pupillary reflex, then parallelly clinically he can present with the second sight also, night blindness also, day blindness also, and by that you can find out what kind of cataract it is. The type of vision loss is always gradual, painless and progressive diminution of vision. Then there can be three kinds of glaucoma. There can be uveitis, there can be colored halos. All these presentations different are there, but what is the most common presentation? What is the most common presentation of the cataract? Anybody who can answer this? We have read about so many presentations of the cataract. Out of this, which one is the most common? Most common presentation of the cataract, though we have read so many presentations, these are not the most common, and the most common presentation remains the frequent change of glasses. Frequent change of glasses. So any patient more than 60 years of age, where a male or a female, is coming with the frequent change in the power of glasses, not able to read with his previous pair of the glasses, will be having the senile cataract. Most common presentation. I hope you all know. Some people have written glare, some people have written diminution of vision. Mahalakshmi has written the right answer, very good. And Siddhant has also given the right answer. Rishi Kumar, Shalini, very good. So see, beta, glare, some people have written glare. Glare is not most common, it is earliest. One is most common and one is earliest. Diminution of vision is most significant. One is earliest, one is most common, and most significant is the diminution of vision, right? Now, can you tell me, let us have the fastest finger first. What is this kind of cataract? So, all the fancy names of cataract are very important on the slit lamp. The identification of these cataracts, you can see this one is your star-shaped cataract. This is the star-shaped cataract is there, which will be your rosette cataract. This cataract is called as the rosette cataract, and the rosette cataract is caused by the blunt trauma. A very frequently asked question, because one question we are always expecting from the trauma, and the most common trauma is the blunt trauma. Whenever we have fist injury, punch injury, ball injury, cricket ball, tennis ball, football, any ball type of ball injury will always cause this rosette cataract. While the other kind of cataract that and you can see that which flower it is resembling. This is resembling the sunflower. So that is why this is actually the sunflower cataract. Therefore, it is the sunflower cataract, and sunflower cataract we have multiple causes, like one is a penetrating type of trauma. One is the penetrating trauma. Number two can be the copper deposition, anything which is leading to the copper deposition. And number three, of course, is the Wilson's disease. Number three, of course, is the Wilson's disease, a very important integration topic, and a question was also there in NEET PG 2023. There was a question on this also, Wilson's disease. Though it is not the most common ocular finding, but definitely you will also get a sunflower cataract in the Wilson's disease. So can you tell me what is the most common ocular finding? Most common ocular finding of this is this one. This is the beautiful KF ring. KF ring is a very, very beautiful finding here, which is the Kayser-Fleischer. Kayser-Fleischer ring है, and it is the most common ocular in the Wilson's disease. In the Wilson's disease. Now, though it is not the cataract, but it is reversible on the treatment. So, when you start treating this patient, after some time, you will not get this KF ring, this golden brown color. It is associated with the low levels of the ceruloplasmin. It is associated with the low levels of ceruloplasmin. Another important PYQ है NEET PG 2018. NEET PG 2018, and it is present in the Descemet's membrane of the cornea. It is reversible. It is present in the Descemet's membrane. It is associated with low levels of ceruloplasmin and the pathology along with the medicine also. If my patient is having the liver disease, then how many percent people will show me KF ring? Any patient with CNS disease, how many people will show the KF ring? Because we have a hepatolenticular degeneration. You have already done with the patho. So in the patients of the Wilson's disease, we have hepatolenticular. In liver disease, it is 50 to 55% people who will show the KF ring, and CNS disease mein it is 90 to 95% who will show the KF ring. This is again an important question which is in set 2020. So all the questions are being covered, all the PYQ topics also. Next is this one, it is resembling the snow, and here comes the name of the cataract also. This one is the snowflake cataract. So one very important and interesting thing that you get in ophthalmology is whatever you see, that is the name, that is the sign. You have to write according to that also. According to that only you have to write this is a snowflake cataract. But yes, where it is found, this is the metabolic cataract, not the most common cataract. It is the metabolic cataract which is found in the diabetes, though it is not most common. See, specifically I am writing not most common because it is a usual practice whenever we say snowflake cataract, the first thing that flash in our mind is a diabetes. So if I ask you most common cataract in diabetes, again you will say snowflake cataract. No, it's not the most common. It is metabolic cataract. It is most specific, while most common in diabetes is the presenile. That is the presenile cataract. Now, what are the other places where I can get this presenile cataract? Presenile cataract ka DD. If you look at the DD of this presenile cataract, we have MAD, M, A, and D. M for we have myotonic dystrophy. In the myotonic dystrophy, we can get this cataract. A for atopic dermatitis. A for atopic dermatitis, and D for the diabetes. All three are the causes of the presenile cataract. Can somebody tell me most common presentation of the diabetic cataract? Like the most common presentation of the senile cataract was a frequent change of glasses. What is the most common presentation that you are getting in the cases of the diabetes? So this presenile cataract is there, and the most common presentation that you get in the patient of the diabetes is the fluctuation. It is the fluctuation of the refractive error. Most common is the fluctuation of the refractive error, which is again a PYQ. Whenever you are getting fluctuation word in the question, then it is always and always diabetes. Frequent change of glasses, that is equal to senile cataract, and fluctuation word is always equal to the diabetes. All right. So coming to the next one, yes, because it is due to the changes in the glycemic index within the 24 hours. You people are absolutely correct. Now this is a beautiful cataract, and this was asked recently in NEET PG 2024. That was a year of googly questions. We had googly means in a way there were a lot of questions which were long, clinical, conceptual, analytical, and that is why all those things which were asked in NEET PG 2024 are really important. Here you can see a beautiful oil shaped cataract. So this is your oil droplet cataract. Can you tell me where do you get the oil droplet reflex? Oil droplet cataract is found in the galactosemia. Where do you get the oil droplet reflex? Can you tell me? This oil droplet cataract is found in the classical galactosemia. Classical galactosemia we are getting, and which enzyme deficiency is found here? Yes, so we are getting what is the difference between the fluctuation of refractive error and the frequent change of glasses? It is just the time. Frequent change of glasses is a long-term change. Fluctuation of refractive error is a short-term change found only within 24 hours. Why within 24 hours? Because of the changes in the glycemic index. Long-term change is a frequent change of glasses, short-term change is the fluctuation. Now, if you look at the oil droplet cataract, it is found in galactosemia. Oil droplet reflex is found in the keratoconus, and classical galactosemia is occurring with the deficiency of the enzyme. Now, which enzyme is deficient? It is galactose 1-phosphate uridyl transferase. Uridyl transferase. This was the question that was asked in 2024. And the most important thing is that it is the only reversible cataract. Another important question, ma'am, KF ring was also reversible, but that was not cataract. Only reversible cataract is the oil droplet cataract. This is also a question. This is also a question. And along with this, because we do not have the enzyme to metabolize the galactose, we will also have the systemic features. Systemic features we are having, like we can have the seizures. So leukocoria with convulsions, like we can have the failure to thrive, baby is not able to grow. We can have a mental retardation. We can also have the mental retardation, seizures, failure to thrive, along with the hepatosplenomegaly. Hepatosplenomegaly. All these are the important features that you are getting, and as it is, this is very important because this was asked in JIPMER 2020. This was asked in the JIPMER 2020. All right. Is that okay for all of you? So, non-classical only cataract, no systemic features, very good. Feeding abnormalities है, mental retardation है, failure to thrive है, seizures है. So this can give me a DD of the leukocoria with convulsions. Whenever you are having the DD of leukocoria with convulsions or leukocoria with seizures, classical galactosemia will remain. What are the other causes? This is number one. If you see, the number one was galactosemia. Then what about the other causes? Number two, we can have the Loeys syndrome. What is Loeys syndrome? Can anybody give the answer in the chat box? And number three is the congenital toxoplasmosis. All three are giving me DD of leukocoria along with the convulsions, right? Now, another PYQ image is this. This is your INISET November 2022. And though they had asked this in relation to fungal corneal ulcer, but this picture is also related with the cataract. What is the most common complication of the cataract surgery? So if you see this, this is actually the hypopyon. This is hypopyon. What is hypopyon, guys? What is hypopyon? Yes, it is the oculocerebrorenal syndrome. I'll write it for you. And what is the triad of congenital toxoplasmosis? Tell me that also. Hypopyon is the pus in the anterior chamber. Pus in the anterior chamber, and pus in anterior chamber, here we are getting due to the bacterial endophthalmitis. Endophthalmitis due to the bacterial endophthalmitis, which is the most common or most severe. This is the most severe complication of the cataract surgery. Most severe complication of the cataract surgery overall. Overall means including intraoperative, early postoperative, late postoperative, has to be bacterial endophthalmitis, which can present with the hypopyon or pus in anterior chamber. Then what is Loeys syndrome? That is Loeys syndrome is actually the oculocerebrorenal syndrome. Oculocerebrorenal syndrome, where you are getting ocular features, cerebro features, as well as the renal features. What is the renal feature, guys? Anybody? And what is the triad of congenital toxoplasmosis? That was also asked in NEET PG 2024. NEET PG 2024 में they had even asked the triad of congenital toxoplasmosis, where we were having the hydrocephalus is there, then we have the intracranial calcification. Intracranial calcification is there, and number 3 will be the chorioretinitis. Number 3 is the chorioretinitis. Very, very important triad hai. What is the renal feature? Hydrocephalus, intracranial calcification, and chorioretinitis. Renal features mein, yes, we are getting amino aciduria or amino acids in urine. Amino acids in urine you are getting in cases of Loeys syndrome. Every word that I am writing is a PYQ, has already come or it can come. Every picture is a PYQ, and we are also discussing all the PYQ images too. Now the most common late postoperative complication. Most common late postoperative complication of the surgery is the PCO, which has to be another PYQ. Very, very important hai. Most common in the late postoperative period has to be the opacification of the posterior capsule, and because this patient will present with a diminution of vision, which is roughly around 1 year. So if they are giving you a history of diminution of vision, and there is a history of cataract surgery about 1 year back, 1.5 years back, always think about the posterior capsular opacification, and due to the diminution of vision, it is also called as after cataract or the secondary cataract. What are the types of after cataract or secondary cataract or the PCO? Yes, so there are two kinds of cataract. If you see, one is this, where you can see the pearl-like cells. This is number 1, which is called as the Elshing's pearl. This is called as the Elshing's pearl cataract, which has been asked in NEET PG 2024. So I have already told you the third question of NEET PG 2024. And the other one is this, where you are getting a ring shape of opacification. This one is number 2, called as the Somering's ring. One is the Elshing's pearl cataract and one is the Somering's ring cataract. Anyone can be there. Treatment of both is same. This is most commonly asked. This has been asked recently in NEET PG 2024, and even it's a old AIIMS question also. AIIMS 2017 also this image was asked. Whenever you are having pearl-like cells, vacuolated cells, it is Elshing's pearl cataract. The other one is this Somering's ring cataract. Treatment is same. What is the treatment? That is your Nd:YAG laser, posterior capsulotomy. Nd:YAG laser, posterior capsulotomy. We are creating the opening in the posterior capsule. What is the wavelength of Nd:YAG, guys? What is the wavelength of Nd:YAG? Unit of Nd:YAG and mechanism of action. Wavelength, unit and mechanism of action, because this is very, very commonly asked as a PYQ. Very commonly asked in the PYQ. Anybody can answer this? Yes. So it is 1064 nanometer. I am writing unit separately because unit can again be asked. And mechanism is the photo disruption. What are the other mechanisms of laser? We have photoablation, we have photocoagulation, and we have photodisruption also. So here we have photodisruption, very, very important. The most severe was bacterial endophthalmitis, and the most common late postoperative complication is the PCO. Now, another thing is, what is most severe intraoperative? Most severe complication which can take place intraoperative. Most severe intraoperative complication is the PCR. Most severe intraoperative complication is the posterior capsular rupture, which can lead to which type of glaucoma? PCR can lead to which type of glaucoma? Can anybody tell me? PCR is there. It can lead to a open angle type of glaucoma, which is called as phacotoxic glaucoma. This is called as the phacotoxic glaucoma, phacomorphic, phacolytic, phacotopic, phacotoxic, and most common is phacolytic glaucoma. Most common remains the phacolytic glaucoma. Is that clear, guys? Right? Now, talking about the subluxation, very, very important, ectopia lentis. Another question of 2024. Where we can have different kind of subluxation. Like here you can see, this is the edge of the lens. So that means lens has moved from its position. This is called as the subluxation of the lens. Lens subluxation. This is the subluxation of the lens. Now, what can be the different causes? Can you comment here? What are the important causes of the subluxation? Yes, very good. It can be Marfan syndrome. Fan will lead to supratemporal subluxation. Number 2 is homocystinuria. Number 2 is homocystinuria, and here we have urine. So, infranasal subluxation. Here we have fan. So, supratemporal. Here we have urea. Therefore, it is inferior subluxation. You can remember it like this. And we can also have a biochemistry integration. Which enzyme deficiency? Here we have deficiency of the enzyme cystathione synthetase. Cystathione synthetase enzyme is there. Deficiency of the enzyme cystathione synthetase. Which acts on which amino acid, guys? It is acting on methionine. And from methionine, it is converting into homocysteine. From homocysteine, it is converting into cysteine. Therefore, the person is deficient of cysteine because he does not have this enzyme. This was asked in the 2024, and therefore this should be given as a treatment. Along with this, we should also give the vitamin B6. Along with this, we also give the vitamin B6. This was asked in INSET 2021. Then what are the other causes? Number 3, we can also have Ehlers-Danlos. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, where we have blue sclera also. Along with the subluxation, we also have the blue sclera. No particular kind of subluxation. Another DD is the blue sclera. And number 4 is the Weil-Marchesani. Weil-Marchesani syndrome. Another one is the Weil-Marchesani syndrome. Marchesani mein we are doing march past. March mein we are going anterior and we are walking on the inferior. Therefore, march past mein we have the antero-inferior subluxation. Therefore, we have antero-inferior subluxation. So, all the questions related to ectopia lentis, systemic features of Marfan syndrome के साथ they can give you, enzyme deficiency के साथ they can give you, blue sclera के साथ they can give you, or they can also give you along with the microspherophakia. They can also give with the microspherophakia, where we have small spherical lens. Can you tell me what is this, guys? Everybody in the comment section, please comment what is this. What is this, guys? Microspherophakia, downward and forward. Downward and forward, or the antero-inferior, it is one and the same thing. Can you comment what is this, and also the most common cause of blue sclera? This one is a Christmas tree cataract. Very correct. This was Christmas tree cataract hai, where you are getting the multicolor crystals, and it is a kind of posterior subcapsular cataract. A kind of posterior subcapsular cataract is there, right? So this completes the lens. Now we'll be going to glaucoma. Another 3 MCQs we are expecting from glaucoma also. 1 we have done from the visual acuity, then 3 from lens, and another 3 we are expecting from the glaucoma. Okay, now glaucoma mein you must be remembering him. He is our favorite who? Favorite Bablu. Is the favorite Bablu who came in NEET PG 2023, where they say that this Bablu is coming with photophobia and lacrimation, a very important topic where we are having the buphthalmos. And this buphthalmos is a congenital glaucoma which will be having the B for bilateral, B for boys is there, B for blue sclera, so it is blue, baby, boy and Bablu. This is our famous mnemonic, blue, baby, boy, Bablu. Yes, phacolytic is most common. Phacolytic is the most common lens-induced glaucoma. So blue is the sclera here. Then baby means it is usually in less than 3 years, more common in boys, and Bablu is the name of the baby, but that does not mean that buphthalmos can occur only in Bablus. It is just a coincidence. Here you are getting bull-like eyes, you are getting big size eyes. So how can you diagnose it? Number 1, if you see the question, you always have to focus on the BPL card. Always look for the BPL card in this patient. This Bablu will always be presenting with the BPL card, where B is the blepharospasm. B for blepharospasm. Then we have P for photophobia. We have P for photophobia, and then is the L. L is the lacrimation. So this is the classical triad that we are going to get in the baby, and usually they will give this in the question also, photophobia and lacrimation. There was a question in INSET May 2024 also. So in the NEET PG 2023 there was a question, and in INSET May 2024 again they said that a baby is coming with the photophobia and lacrimation. What is the least important clinical scenario that you have to consider? So you can see in this baby you are having the bilateral involvement, then we will have the blue sclera, bluish discoloration of the sclera is also there. Bablu is a baby boy, that also you can see. Photophobia and lacrimation they have given, and then you also have to see the hazy cornea. Now, how can I say that the cornea is hazy? When the cornea is clear, it is transparent, you can see the iris details. This is how you get to know. When the cornea is hazy, this is called as the frosted glass appearance. This is called as the frosted glass appearance. So you can see here we are having the hazy cornea. You cannot see the iris details, and then we also have megalocornea. How can I comment megalocornea from the picture? Usually it is more than 13 mm. That has to be diagnostic of the congenital glaucoma. Guys, if the cornea is normal size, I should have been seeing the whitish area from here. So you can see that there is no white area visible here. Therefore, we are also having megalocornea. So even if you have been given Bablu, baby boy, photophobia, lacrimation, from the picture you can see bilateral, you can see the blue sclera, you can see the hazy cornea, you can see the megalocornea. It is more than enough to say that this Bablu is having the buphthalmos. Very correct. And when we are having megalocornea to such a high extent, definitely we will have the Habs stria. So many people have written the right thing. H for Hab and H for horizontal. Here we will have the horizontal striations on the cornea. We are getting the horizontal striations on the cornea. H for Hab hai, H for horizontal hai. If you are getting this much, more than enough hai. Then along with this, you can also get the axial myopia because stretching of the eyeball is there. Now that reminds me of one thing. What is the refractive status of the baby at the time of birth? Can you tell me what is the refractive status of the baby at the time of birth, if you can tell me that? refractive status of the baby at the time of birth, can you tell me? And by the time we will be discussing the treatment of choice. So nowadays the treatment of choice for the congenital glaucoma will be the TRAB plus TRAB. TRAB plus TRAB is the treatment of choice that we are going to give, combined treatment we are going to give in the babies. Hypermetropia, very correct. How much hypermetropia is present at the time of birth? So one TRAB is the trabeculotomy, and another is the trabeculectomy. Trabeculectomy is there. This is the usual procedure that we are giving for the babies of the ophthalmos nowadays, where we can give the opening in the trabecular meshwork. Opening in the trabecular meshwork. And what is trabeculectomy? Where we are creating artificial opening. Here we are creating a fistula. This fistula is created between the anterior chamber and the episcleral space. Between the anterior chamber and the episcleral space, we are creating a fistula, or we can also call it as a bleb. Hypermetropia, how much hypermetropia? Exactly, it is +2 to +3 diopters, and now we are having the increase in the size of the eyeball, due to which we are having the myopia. So whole of this